Hey, everybody, it is Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Saturday NFL edition of Today in Sports Betting. Scott, is this the best weekend of the year for the NFL?
For the NFL, it's got to be up there. I don't really think you're going to find many better weekends. I know that
Well,
I'm one of
last year we
those.
had Super Wild Card weekend,
I
so
was
that
going
was
to say,
that was hard to beat with the bonus game. But
you thought those games were good.
well, that's the other problem. I mean, on paper, three NFL games per day on your opening weekend, it's a good thing.
I thought it was a dud for the most part. You had the Ravens Titans game, which was close, pretty boring. Titans had 90 something yards over the last three quarters combined
Yeah, not good.
offensively. And then the most entertaining game for me was the Washington Tampa game. Tampa won by 8, but everyone was just all in on Heineke because that was a good story. But I mean, I thought that was the best game of the weekend, and that game wasn't really that close. It was just, Washington scores to cut it to 3. Oh, wait, Tampa's going to score again.
That game mattered a lot. That game was a real nail biter for gamblers. It
Yeah, for
wasn't
spread stuff, it was. I'm just saying that from
wasn't
an actual.
necessarily it wasn't necessarily a nail biter.
Washington kept being one step behind, where it's like, all right, we're going to cut it to 3. Tampa's like, all right, cool, we're going 75 yards. And Washington's like, cool, I'll go 75 yards. And they're like, all right, great, I'll go 70 yards. So Tampa won the game. There was really never in doubt. The game was just close for a little while. But overall, really not a great week for NFL games last week and how the results panned out.
Yeah, and we got the potential for that to happen again with a couple games this weekend. So let's take a look, Scott. Tomorrow, or because we're recording this show on Friday. So the Saturday games, the big story is going to be the weather. It's going to have a big impact on one of the games, going to have a decent size impact on the other one. So let's start with that. As the Los Angeles Rams leave the friendly confines of warm and sunny LA and head to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Packers 6.5-point favorite. That number's come a little bit towards the Packers there, and 45.5 is the total. Scott, this is going to be snow pretty much up until the morning, so the snow should be over. Still going to be cold. Going to be a little windy up there in Green Bay. Who you got here?
So I kind of flipped on this one. I was originally a fan of the Rams earlier in the week, getting 7. I know it went down to 6.5. But the more I've been looking into this matchup, the more I like Green Bay. It's just a matter of looking at the Rams, and Goff has an injured finger, which you already know about because he didn't play well at all against Seattle. He wasn't supposed to play at all. In addition to that, Kupp now has a knee injury. He might not play. I think he will, but it'll be limited.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Donald, who is the best defensive player in the league, has some rib injury, which he'll play through, but I will question just how compromised he's going to be. At the same point, you also have the weather, and you have Jared Goff, California kid, traveling to a snowy area in the Midwest. And in his career in cold weather, he is awful. So unless Akers goes nuts and goes for about 150, I just don't see how Green Bay doesn't win this game by at least a touchdown. So I completely flipped. The injuries didn't help either, but I'll lean Green Bay here.
All right, very good. I've got premium on the side, but I will talk about the total. I like the under here quite a bit. This is a Green Bay defense that's you know what, they've been good here lately. Now they haven't had the level of competition. LA is going to, but you can make the case that Tennessee certainly has a better offense than the Rams do, and they gave up 14 to Tennessee. Of course, absolutely just put a stomping on Chicago's offense last week. That narrative that the Chicago offense had turned the corner, that turned out to be fool's gold. So yeah, this is a team that's given up 16 or less in 4 of their last 5. Is there anything scarier than a Green Bay team that's playing good defense
in bad weather? No,
yeah, especially in bad weather. Like I said, it's going to be cold. It's going to be in the 30s. It's going to be a little bit of a wind.
I like the under as well. I was a huge fan of the under in the Rams Seahawks game, and that killed me. So I'm still not even sure how that game went over. But yeah,
5-minute stretch in the second quarter killed us.
Killed me. I had the first half under personal.
the pick six out of all things, a
On a
wide
screen
receiver.
pass.
You know what? I don't even talk about it. I don't want to go down
But
that road.
I had the first half under in that, which killed the parlay of mine, and then I had the full game. But it wasn't fun. But anyway, I'll still lean to the under. Doesn't change the fact that the Rams offensively couldn't really do much through the air. I think Goff had 9 completions.
Yeah.
And that was in good weather. Now he's in Green Bay in the cold, and his finger's not getting any better. So for me, I got to like the under as well because there's a good chance Green Bay can score 28 or so or whatever. But it would shock you if the Rams score less than 14 points here or less than 17.
I'm just not a massive fan of this Rams offense. I'm just not.
I mean, I'm looking at like 27-17, something like that. I still like the under in that.
All right, very good. Yeah, this is the only thing that's had Green Bay going over the total the last 2 weeks is the fact that their offense has exploded. I don't think the Rams are going to allow that. I think the Rams defense is.
It's 30 enough to hold Green Bay to below 30. So
yeah, they're a lot like playing the Chiefs at this point, where if you're going to play them, you better count on scoring 30 plus, and I don't think the Rams have that in them. So
I kind of just meant that the Rams defense should hold Green Bay to less than 30.
Should as long as the wild card in that will be if the Rams can sustain any kind of drive. Because you get that defense worn out in the second half, and that's when bad things happen. That's what happened.
Also good for the under if they can, though, because the Rams aren't exactly built for big play offense based on this current run-heavy style.
No. And I would definitely consider taking a live game play there. If the Rams get down early, I think you load up on Green Bay because, again, like you said, that's not a team that's built to come from behind. So, all right. So there's that one. What's your best play on that game?
I kind of like the under and Green Bay equally, to be honest.
Okay. A little correlated parlay for those of you that can do it.
Potentially. I just think if Green Bay's going to win, it's going to shut down LA's offense pretty dramatically. So I think that's kind of how it's going to work out.
Shootout seems unlikely there. 31-27 seems unlikely.
Yeah, I don't see that.
All right, so let's go to the night game, and let's head to upstate New York, Scott. We've already touched on it briefly. That's going to be some bad weather up there by Lake Erie. Not good at all. It's going to be snow showers, 18 to 20 mile an hour winds. Scott, explain the line move in this one. This was a Bills that opened up like a 1.5 point favorite. They're now a 2.5 point favorite. Tell me what sense that makes in a game where the running game is going to be more featured than normally because of the weather.
Well, I know that this line has boomeranged a little bit so far this week. I know Buffalo opened up at -3 or so, ended up dropping to around -1.5. And now there's been some buyback at the -2.5 spot where it is now. The only logic I can think of is that people just love betting home teams. And the fact that Buffalo, since it will have some fans in attendance, maybe they think that the home field means a little bit more to them than it does to other teams. Do I care? No. I like Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore's the better team. I think they're going to win the game.
Yep.
But I just a matter of trying to guess where I think the line movement's coming. I think it's the public who's looking at the home team just saying, all right, they're going to win this game. And B, Buffalo has fans. So people think that's all that matters and whatever, but I don't really care about that because I think Baltimore is just ready to take care of business.
Well, and we have ridden this Bills team hard.
They've been good to us. I just think that this is a bad spot for them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think the weather's going to hurt them.
Yes, this is not it's not necessarily a team that's designed to play great in bad weather, which is not necessarily a good thing when you're the Buffalo Bills.
Well, we saw it against Kansas City earlier this year, and they gave up, 200 and something rushing yards to Kansas City of all teams?
Yeah, not good. They did not perform well. The offense looked lost. Anytime you make the KC rushing game and the KC defense look good, you're probably not doing something right.
My question, if you actually like Buffalo in this game, do you really want your quarterback to go to shotgun for about 80-something% of the snaps and to throw the ball 30-something times when it's going to be snowing with 18-mile-per-hour winds?
Yeah.
Probably not.
That's what you're looking at there.
And Baltimore can run the ball for probably at least, I don't even know, 4.5 yards per carry in this game.
I would think so.
I mean, they're averaging roughly 200 rushing yards per game. So the bad weather should help them in this spot.
Yeah, this is a very very bad time for Zach Moss to be injured. I'm on record saying I'm a Singletary fan. The problem with Singletary, he's not the big kind of durable Derrick Henry back. He's not going to be a guy that can go for 4 quarters, carry the ball 25, 26 times.
I think Moss is also just more physical. So in the trenches, I think that Moss provides added value.
Yeah, you do miss his presence between the tackles, no question about that. And that is going to that's going to be a huge factor for. I think this comes down, Scott, to the team that can run the ball most effectively.
I agree. And I think that it also matters for special teams. I know Buffalo has had pretty good special teams this season, but if you are in bad weather, I still trust Tucker more than anybody else in the league, and it's not even close. So I do think that some points could be left off the board with some missed field goals. Baltimore seems to be a little bit safer on that option. But also, how much stock do you have, or did you buy into Buffalo just looking awful last week against the Colts? Because Indianapolis outplayed them for at least a half.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just asking. I'm throwing it out there.
You can go either way on that because it's a game where the Bills had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So yeah, they seemed unable to just put them away. And I think this is a hungry Baltimore team. This is a team. I don't think anybody wants to see this team in the playoffs. I know I didn't. I was extremely excited as a Chiefs fan when Cleveland won last week because I wanted no part of this Ravens team. And my thing is we're going to get them next week if the Chiefs are still around. So
I feel the same way.
All right. Any thoughts on the total?
Well, based on the weather, I got to lean under. Okay. But I am obviously scared to take it under with the Bills being involved. But I can't take the over. It's supposed to be snow with wind.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think you feel the same way.
I do have a premium on the total, but
fair enough. I didn't realize you had a premium on the total.
I do, but yeah, I like the side. I like the Ravens. You and I talked briefly about whether there was any money line value at plus 125 on the Ravens because it's a game I think we both think the Ravens are going to win outright.
Yeah.
2.5 points for 28 cents of value.
I thought about it, but with the bad weather as well as Harbaugh's love for going for 2-point conversions,
yep.
I think there's a decent chance this game could land 2. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah.
I would cross my fingers and hope it goes to 3, but there's no way it's going to 3. So that's not even worth talking about. But I think if you want to take the money line, you can. But I do think that 2.5, even though usually if it's less than 3, you play the money line. In bad weather, kicking is always a question mark. And it takes one missed extra point. All of a sudden, everything that you know about the spreads kind of goes out the window because 3 isn't as valuable as it once was. So I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah, tight playoff games. Yeah, that's kind of a rule of thumb that you and I have talked about before. Anytime the spread's 3 points or less, you almost always take the money line because that's where the value is going to be. Because the times that it comes into that gap, the 0 to 3, isn't significant. However, it's one of those rules that you should always follow until you shouldn't. And I think this is one of those cases where you're just not catching enough value at 28 cents. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. I think it could be a tight game, and it could come down to kicking, last-minute field goal by Tucker, perhaps for a 1-point victory.
Miss extra point, 2-point conversion, something like that. And...
Yep, absolutely. So I'll take the Ravens plus 2.5 as well. So.
Yep.
And you're on the under as a play, and I do have a premium on that. If anybody's interested in my thoughts, we can take care of business on that. So, to recap, Scott, you and I,
I think we agreed on everything. Even though you have a couple premiums that you didn't disclose, but it seems like all the stuff you did say publicly, we agree on.
Yep, I like the under in the Rams game, as do you. You're on the Packers to cover. You and I are both on the Ravens, and you've got the under. In that contest as well. So,
yep.
All right, 1 down, 1 to go, baby. That takes care of business here as far as the Saturday show for today in sports betting. As always, if you're looking for deeper dives into any of these playoff games, make sure you stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis, especially when it comes to NFL, man. Nobody writes nobody writes a more in-depth analysis than you will find on Winners and Whiners. I will put that up against anything you will find anywhere. So, as always, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, drop us a line. Let us know what you're playing, how excited you are for these games, and what you think is going to happen. So, for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, appreciate you guys watching today. Have a great day. Good luck on all of your plays. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. You guys have a great one. Stay tuned. We'll be back and talk about the Sunday games as far as the NFL goes. And that's what's going to happen next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.